Welcome to Arlington Public News. I'm Carla Dorado.
And I'm Paul Werlin. Thanks for joining us. In this edition of APN,
well, this is the biggest construction project the town has done.
Soliciting feedback on a nearly $300 million high school, how you can have your say on a plan, coming up. Plus, a faster way to travel east on Mass Ave. It could be coming in the form of an express bus lane. The details ahead.
And later,
we're going to plant some tomatoes and some cucumbers and possibly some potatoes. Or maybe we'll put the potatoes here.
How Arlington Public Schools received national recognition for its sustainability efforts, what gardening and pumpkins have to do with it.
That and more up next on Arlington Public News.
A faster and more reliable commute is the goal, and if you head east during morning rush hour on Massachusetts Avenue, there may be a solution: a bus rapid transit. 17% of Arlington residents take the bus to work. Massachusetts Ave is the main artery for bus travel, and in the last 30 days, the 77, 79, and 350 buses along the avenue were running on time only 70% of the time, according to the pilot project managers. In order to improve those numbers and prepare for an expected increase in bus ridership over the next few years, Arlington has joined 3 other communities and the MBTA in implementing a bus priority pilot. The pilot, set to take place this fall, will test out ways to create a faster and more reliable bus commute along Mass Ave. A recent community forum at Town Hall introduced residents and commuters to the pilot idea.
We understand the nexus between transportation and quality of life. Transportation is a central piece of all of our quality of life living here in the Arlington community and as a part of the greater Boston region.
We're talking about basically 4 things that we're going to be investigating. The first one is the possibility of a dedicated bus lane. What could that look like? The evaluation will be from Lake Street to the Alewife Brook Parkway. Mass Ave from Mystic Street actually to the Parkway, we're going to evaluate something called signal prioritization. Queue jump lanes, which basically is a way to get give buses a head start, and then potentially some bus stop relocation and consolidation. The pilot would run, we think, in October for the whole month, and then we want to evaluate it. We want to figure out, what did we learn? What do we need to do differently? Is this possible here? Or do we scrap it entirely and look at a different roadway altogether?
As I was finalizing my slides for this morning, I went on and looked at the Route 77, and right on the MBTA's website, just this morning, delayed 20 to 25 minutes due to traffic. Most of the time, you're 3 to 5 minutes behind that schedule along the whole route. The 90th percentile, which is sort of, kind of the normally bad version of how things work, you're operating 10 to 20 minutes behind schedule. Right? This is exactly the kind of thing that the pilots are meant to start addressing.
So we have to think about how we actually move more people through your own town, Arlington, in the future without widening your roads. And how do we do that? And how does the town work with the MBTA? And how do we prioritize the different ways that we move down your city streets? What we can help with is we own the buses. We help manage stop placement. We have guidelines for how you place stops. We help manage the schedule. We help manage the fares. So all of the buses in the MBTA, or nearly all the buses in the MBTA system, have like a built-in GPS system. So we at the MBTA Control Center, we can look on a map and we can see where every bus is in the network and how it moves around. So what we can do is we can actually take that information, and if I'm a bus going down the road and there's a signal up there, we can actually tell that signal, say, hey, here comes a bus. If you're about to turn red, don't. Stay green. Let us get through that signal, and we can keep going down the road, and we can get people where they need to go faster. TSP isn't going to solve everything, but if you work TSP and a bus lane, that really kind of is the best way that you can get a bus through a system.
One of the options was a dedicated bus-only lane. We're very concerned that is going to have a very detrimental effect on the local businesses, the commercial lifeblood, and a lot of the cultural energy of East Arlington would be negatively impacted by that.
There's probably 3 issues that are on the top of my mind. One is impacts on businesses based on whatever it is that we do. Impact on existing congestion is top of my mind. I mean, we don't want to negatively impact businesses. We don't want to create more traffic congestion. And the third on my mind is what happens with bike accommodations. I certainly don't want to have a negative impact on the existing bike accommodations. Just speaking for myself and my view of this, those are the top three things on my mind. And we're certainly not going to make any decisions in a vacuum without continuing to talk to you and the other business owners in the East.
Over the next few months, transportation planners and designers will develop conceptual designs for the pilot program. A community forum to review those designs will be held at Town Hall on Wednesday, August 15th. You can watch the entire forum at acmi.tv or check your local cable listings.
The town of Arlington has settled on a punishment for the students accused of the May 2nd vandalism of Arlington High School. The 14 students in question will be offered the option to go through the Restorative Justice program after police say they broke into the school and spray-painted anti-gay messages and a swastika. The program will have the offenders work with the school, LGBTQIA+, and Jewish communities together on a long-term process. It will also require the offenders to be held accountable through financial restitution. If any of the offenders decline to take part in the Restorative Justice program, they will be prosecuted in court. Students will also receive additional punishments from the Arlington Public Schools. The town of Arlington worked closely with the Arlington Human Rights Commission, the newly formed Arlington LGBTQIA+ Rainbow Commission, and the Anti-Defamation League to decide on the restorative justice punishment for the students. In a statement, the town of Arlington said, "In Arlington, we don't run from a crisis, we embrace it as an opportunity to do better. With restorative justice, we seek to foster a frank and honest dialogue of how we treat each other." In other Arlington High School news, it's your final chance to have a say on the design of a new building. The town needs to submit a single preferred design to the Massachusetts School Building Authority by mid-July to be considered for partial funding by the state, currently estimated at 30 to 40% of the total project cost. Cost won't be the main focus of the upcoming forum, but will be discussed. Architects expect the new high school to run about $300 million. APN Assistant News Director Brenda Mahoney took a look at how what the town decides now will have lasting effects.
It's a crucial point in the timeline for a proposed new Arlington High School. 4 design options need to be narrowed down to just one. 2 call for all new construction, and 2 would be renovation addition, including some of the more historic aspects of the building. The Arlington High School Building Committee won't have exact cost estimates or how much would be reimbursed by the state, but they will have more information on the design of a future Arlington High School.
Well, this is the biggest construction project the town has done. I don't know how long, but it's a significant project. It's a significant investment. The high school is a flagship school. It's a very strong school academically. So we want to make sure that the community is involved in the process. It's extremely important that they're involved, that they're engaged, that they're aware of what's going on, and that they give us their feedback on what they want. Do they want to keep some historical components? Do they want something brand new? Do they want to build on the back? Do they want to build on the front, on this green? And what specific features are they looking for in the school? Because we're building it for them. We're building it for the entire community, not just for the students that are in there today, but for the students of the next 50 years. Having strong public schools is really, really important for a community, and I think we have an opportunity here to really do something fantastic. We have a strong school academically, and we need the facility that supports that academic program.
A design feedback forum will be held Monday, June 4th at Arlington Town Hall from 7 to 9. Arlington Public News will have a full recap, and ACMi TV will also be airing it in its entirety. Brenda Mahoney, Arlington Public News.
Paul, if this whole project with the buses works out, it could make such a difference in the morning commute, really.
Absolutely. I mean, they just redid Mass Ave a few years ago, and the lanes are different. And I know there have been some concerns from local businesses, but those have been addressed, so it should help tremendously.
Oh, I think it could be great. After the break, how new technology is helping volunteers identify fallen veterans here in Arlington.
And why this year's Memorial Day keynote speaker is one that you won't want to miss. That and more when we come back.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. How could you not love him?
Children across Arlington Public Schools have been working hard at reducing waste, and the efforts are paying off. Less trash due to composting, textiles are being recycled, and now they have received national recognition for all that they have done. APN's Sophia Giannetti has the story.
Earlier this month, the Arlington Public School District was named a 2018 Massachusetts Green Ribbon School and was one of 9 districts to be named a 2018 National Green Ribbon School District by the Department of Education. The Green Ribbon title recognizes districts that have taken exemplary initiative to reduce their environmental impact, improve the health and wellness of their schools, students, and staff, and provide effective environmental and sustainability education.
There is so much content here.
Rachel Oliveri, the Arlington School Sustainability Coordinator, says the award is evidence of Arlington Public School District's ongoing commitment to sustainability.
I think it's excellent. It's a way to celebrate all the hard work that everyone's doing across the district. I think the green teams, the students, the teachers should be really proud and excited for what they're doing. And I think it also sort of strengthens our commitment to this work. I think it sort of sends a message that Arlington prioritizes this, that we care about the environment.
That commitment includes a strong emphasis on environmental and sustainability education. Students in Arlington Public Schools have the opportunity to join environmental clubs called Green Teams, where they learn about the importance of sustainability.
So what we try to do here is to instill a sense of responsibility for the environment.
We teach people how to be good citizens. We teach them about the planet. We teach them how to go out and do good things with and for the community.
It's just amazing to see these students, as you saw today with the Down and Go Green Club. They're committed to this. They're passionate about it. They're planting things in their garden. They're learning. They're growing. They're educating their peers. I really just feel so proud of the green teams at all the schools.
We planted milkweed because monarch butterflies like it.
I really liked when we planted the Asclepias tuberosa.
Students in Green Teams are directly involved in the district's sustainability initiatives, including the district's waste reduction efforts.
The food composting program is something that we really enjoyed doing, and the kids have loved that as well. So
yes, recycling's happening in all the schools. Lunchroom composting we have now in 6 of the 7 elementary schools, and the high school just started a pilot, and our plan is to roll it out to all the schools within the next 2 years.
These waste reduction efforts have already yielded impressive results.
The amount of trash that we've been collecting is really just a fraction of what it has been in the previous years, so it really is working.
Numbers like going from 7 full bags of trash every lunch day down to half a bag of trash with lunchroom composting, collecting the food waste.
The school district also recycled over 7,000 pounds of textiles in a district-wide recycling competition last year. And shortly after Halloween,
well, we did a pumpkin recycle where everybody brings a pumpkin and from the leftover Halloween stuff, and then they actually dump it and then we turn it into something else that can actually be reused.
The district recycled 3,000 pounds of pumpkins. National recognition is an encouraging honor for the students, teachers, and administrators who have worked together to build the district's sustainability programs. If you are a member of the Arlington Public School community, you too can get involved.
If you're involved, if you're watching this and you're involved in any of the schools in town, there's so many opportunities to participate in this kind of activity, and just talk to your school principal or teachers, or contact me as the school sustainability coordinator and find out all the ways you can get involved.
All of the school's recycling efforts were made possible since Rachel Oliveri received a grant to form the school sustainability program. She runs it on a part-time basis with the help of the volunteer green teams at each school.
Memorial Day is upon us, and although we are looking forward to the warm weather and cookouts, it's a time to honor fallen members of the U.S. military. There are close to 5,500 military veterans buried here in Arlington at Mount Pleasant Cemetery. In the past, the Veterans Services Council spent most of May locating and placing flags on those graves, but a new technology has simplified that process, allowing volunteers to come together to honor those killed while serving in just a couple of weekends. News Director Heather Aveson has the story.
So good morning. I'm Jeff Chunglo, Director of Veteran Services here in town. Thank you very much for your willingness to come out and participate in this event. I think it's great. We've worked hard over the past few years to be able to open this up to have residents participate. The first year I came out with my predecessor, Bill McCarthy, and he went through and mapped or placed flags at all the veteran graves, and then I came through and satellite mapped each location, noting the plot, the grave number, the name, any identifying information. Then the second year I came out and we had vetted a bunch of different stickers, appropriate stickers. So we have little U.S. veteran stickers. So what you're looking for is you're looking for this yellow and blue sticker on the marker that says U.S. veteran. And then if you go around, you'll see that there's a sticker on each corner. So this is a family plot with 3 veterans.
I've had chills since I drove in. Yeah, I consider this an honor, and I'm flabbergasted at the people that are here to do this for us. So it's a wonderful thing.
You have to honor that they served, what they gave for this country, what they gave to us. My grandmother was a Gold Star mother back in, I think my uncle was killed in Guadalcanal in 1942. So she was probably one of the original Gold Star mothers. So it's just an honor to give back.
Yeah. My father was a World War II vet. He served over in Europe, and he was shot, but he was able to come home and lived a long life at home. And I'm just doing this because of him.
I mean, I had a brother that was in the Navy, and my dad was in the Navy, but other than that, we're not very, we certainly were not a military family. A lot of families are so military, and, they give so much, and I, wanted to try to say thank you.
I have one son who's currently serving in the Air Force now, and my middle boy actually served in the Marines from 2010 to 2014. So, another reason for me to come.
Being able to open it up to the public, I think, is important. I think we're seeing that grow every year, more interest, and what I'm very pleased to see is that we're attracting a younger crowd, which I think is very nice to see.
My nephew's 7, and he understands kind of what we're doing here for the veterans, and that it's important to remember that they've given the ultimate sacrifice so we can enjoy the freedoms that we have. So I think that's very vitally important to us.
Open the hole. The hole's right here.
And then over here, guys. So I found the ground stone. So I just came back from my own deployment. I got back Wednesday afternoon.
Suddenly, I heard a door open, and then I heard my dad talking to William, and I was like, Daddy!
And you did, was it a surprise?
It was a very big surprise for me.
I think it's just really important to remember the history of those that have served. Hopefully that'll give them a better appreciation of my service as well. But I wanted to be aware that all the freedoms and the liberties that we have didn't come free. For some people that was just serving a few years, for some it was going to war, and for others it wasn't. For some it was never coming home. And it's important that they know and respect that their freedom isn't free and that other people have paid for that. I want people to remember the true meaning, and that it's not just a 3-day holiday or the kickoff to summer, that there is meaning behind it. And I'm glad to see that our participation here in Arlington has increased steadily over the past few years, and I thank everybody for coming out.
Arlington will hold its Memorial Day services on Monday, May 28th, beginning at 9:30 in the morning. This year's keynote speaker is Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel Michael Strobel. He made it his personal duty to escort the remains of a fallen Marine home. His story later turned into an HBO film. Here's a look.
I have a very special guest speaker this year, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Strobel, who is behind the HBO movie Taking Chance. And it's a story, it's his personal story of him escorting a fallen Marine back home to be interred.
Sir, last night I read the DOD announcement about EFC Phelps. I would be honored to escort him home.
And he was so touched by people along the way that he, in his journal, which ended up being pages and pages, and eventually that was released, and then 8 people at HBO picked that up, and then they approached Lieutenant Colonel Strobel and Chance Phelps' family. Chance Phelps was the fallen Marine that he was escorting home. and it is a fantastic movie, very fitting for Memorial Day. So Lieutenant Colonel Strobel will be my keynote speaker, and then after that afternoon at the Regent Theater at 2 o'clock will be a free screening of Taking Chance, open to the general public, and then Lieutenant Colonel Strobel will have a question and answer period following the movie.
You know, Carla, what a wonderful new technology that enables these volunteers to put the flags exactly where they belong on the right graves.
That is very nice. You know, my dad is 91 years old and he was a veteran, and he still pulls out his trumpet and he goes to the cemetery every year to play taps for the relatives and his friends that have fallen before him.
That's great. I love to hear stories like that. That's really nice. Once again, the Memorial Day events will begin at 9:30 in the morning at Town Hall, followed by a wreath laying at Mount Pleasant Cemetery. ACMi will cover the event in its entirety. Check out airing times and channels at acmi.tv. What one local psychotherapist has to say about a U.S. president.
He's like one of the more dishonest presidents. I mean, he just was a total narcissist.
The president he speaks of may surprise you.
That and Spy Ponders Sports when we come back.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
We are often wondering what might be going on in the mind of a president. Well, one local author and psychotherapist thinks he has the answers. Herb Pierce has published a book that uses his years of experience with personality typing to examine each of the 45 U.S. presidents. APN reporter Tyler Robichaux has more on Pierce's unique perspective and the process behind it.
I spent, oh my God, certainly thousands of hours researching and studying and then writing and editing to try to get the accurate Enneagram and Myers-Briggs type for each president, because I think many of them have been mistyped.
This is Arlington resident and author Herb Pierce. He's talking about his new book, Presidential Profiles, Washington to Trump, Enneagram and Myers-Briggs Perspectives.
I think even if people don't know those systems, they'll still understand the personalities of each president. There's a lot of fascinating stories.
Stories aside, Pierce has been using the Enneagram and Myers-Briggs personality tests to help others better understand themselves for over 35 years. Along the way, he has developed his own strategy for finding someone's personality type.
I don't use a test. I've never used a test. I think they're often inaccurate. I just do it through observation. And because I've done this for so many years, I've taught a few thousand workshops on it. I just kind of know the types. A lot of people I can look at and tell.
The presidents posed additional challenges for the author. Both the Myers-Briggs and Enneagram personality tests are designed to be self-administered. And beyond that, Pierce isn't able to observe most of the presidents like he can observe his clients. So he had to rely on the words of those who had known them.
I was looking for consistent cues, quotes from people that knew them, stories about them that seemed consistent, so I just did my best guess, but I think I'm pretty accurate with every president.
His in-depth research sheds light on some of our former leaders, and sometimes that light wasn't the most flattering.
The first president, George Washington, matter of fact, I got emotionally upset. I mean, he's not that honest. I mean, this idea that he's one of the more dishonest presidents. He was totally about image, and he had to constantly be seen well or he would fire you. I mean, he just was a total narcissist.
Stories like this might come as a shock, but they aren't stopping Pierce from digging deeper. Pierce plans to write a book focusing on the First Ladies next. For Arlington Public News, I'm Tyler Robichaux.
We're heading into the home stretch of the regular season for high school athletics. Arlington High School has been racking up some wins and some losses. Here's a look at all the latest spring action in this Spy Ponders Sports Update.
Hello Arlington sports lovers, I'm Mike and welcome to another edition of your Spy Ponders Sports Update. Our students are getting ready for finals, which means the spring season is winding down. Starting things off at the plate, girls softball continues with their strong season with wins against Reading, Lexington, and Winchester. The boys had a tough time against our neighbor towns, but managed to take the win against Woburn. Moving over to the turf, the boys lacrosse team have had a fighting season, but managed to overcome and take the win against Belmont on senior night.
Oh, give and go! Oh!
Oh, what a pass by Care! He sends in the magician!
Oh, they're pouring it on, Arlington!
From Jonathan Care.
Wow, I told you, right, Ken? They're starting to feel
They're
it.
starting
They
to feel
believe
it.
it. They just any given Sunday or Thursday.
We're going to talk a little bit about the game. I'm going to send the mic over to my color commentator, Foss. Foss, what'd you see today?
I saw Arlington come out aggressive. They played with a lot of passion today, right? I don't know if it was senior night or they started believing in themselves, but clean balls, great passes. Look how many assists we also got today. Just a lot to be proud of.
Foss, I couldn't agree with you more. 9 goals, 7 of them were assisted.
The girls lacrosse team also took the win against Belmont that night. Girls tennis took a win against Belmont last week, but didn't manage to repeat their success earlier this week. The boys on the court have recently taken wins against Woburn, Somerville, and Belmont. That's all we have for sports this week, but before we go, ACMi would like to remind all students and parents to come on down to Studio B at 892 Mass Ave, or meet us in the booth during a game if you're interested in sports production. Learn how to use the cameras and equipment, or even join us to do commentary for your very own favorite sport. I'm Mike, and we'll see you in the next edition of your Spy Ponders Sports Update.
Thank you for joining Arlington Public News as we explore events and issues affecting Arlington. Check out our latest segments on the web at news.acmi.tv.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Arlington Public. I'm Carla Dorado.
And I'm Paul Whirlin. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.